I'm gonna share with you the exact step-by-step process that's made me over $500,000 over the last 12 months day trading stocks. This is the same process that my father, who was my trading mentor, taught me 5 years ago when I had zero experience, zero consistency, and honestly, zero confidence. Since then, it's changed my life forever, and it doesn't matter if you trade stocks or options or crypto or Forex or futures. If you apply what I'm going to teach you in this video for 1 to 6 months, you won't recognize yourself as a trader. What I'm about to break down is the difference between traders who stay stuck for years and traders who finally break through and become profitable. I highly recommend watching until the end of this video, and I'm not saying that for me, I'm saying that for you. This video is a game changer. Let's get right into it. Real quick, I believe in transparency, and I would never make a claim that I make money with trading without showing concrete proof. So this is my Charles Schwab brokerage account. I day trade on Thinkorswim, and over the last 1 year, from October 4th of 2024 to October 3rd of 2025, I've been able to generate $529,000 in day trading profits, which is a cumulative rate of return of over 340% on my entire trading account. And some people may think this is Photoshop or this is some sort of screenshot that I edited. Well, if I go ahead and refresh the page on my Charles Schwab brokerage login and I go back to 1 year, as you can see, there's the $529,000. And the reason I'm showing you this is to be real and as transparent as possible. So in this video, I'm going to show you the exact process that I follow to become a profitable trader. And a lot of what I'm about to teach you, my dad taught me 5 years ago. And it's honestly the reason I'm a profitable trader today. I'm not showing you easy strategies. I'm not going to show you plug and play indicators that lead to easy money and, oh, use this support and resistance structure to find entries. No, I want to show you the no bullshit process that you could follow right now to actually make this happen, so you could hopefully become a full-time trader by the end of the process. And the first step is critical. The first step is important. Focus on your education, okay? A lot of people, a lot of traders, they just want to jump into the markets, fund their account, and instantly make money. That's not how it works. And in fact, in all areas of our life and every other profession out there, you need to educate yourself first. You have to go to school, for example, if you want to become an engineer or a lawyer or a doctor. You basically have to get a degree for any job out there, right? You have to go to school for 4 years to educate yourself. Yet, most traders, especially beginners, they don't want to focus on the education. They just want to make quick money. Well, that's not how trading works. And when you're focusing on your trading education, you want to focus on one core methodology. You don't want to be bouncing from this strategy to this strategy and try this methodology out, then that one, then this one, right? You want to stick with one, because every single methodology, it's going to teach different principles, and it's honestly going to confuse you. And I see this all the time where traders, they just bounce around from one thing to another and they never stick and master just one strategy or one methodology, right? You want to build the foundation for your trading success. And if you think of a skyscraper that is being built, the engineers, the architects, the project managers, they all focus on building the foundation first. In fact, they spend most of the time working on the foundation, because the foundation is what ensures that building doesn't collapse 3 or 5 or 10 years later because of a crazy storm. And that's the way I want you to think about your trading. Just like how the foundation of a building is built strongly, so that building obviously doesn't collapse later on. That's how you need to approach your trading. You have to focus on building the foundation. So what goes into that? Well, number one, your edge. What is your edge, right? In your trading system, what's going to differentiate you from every single other trader out there? And the only way to develop an edge is to educate yourself. Focus on the education. It's your mindset, right? Are you going to approach trading with a conservative mindset or an aggressive mindset? How are you structuring your expectations when you go into trading? Of course, price action principles. How are you reading charts? Are you using any indicators? If so, how many, right? Which price action principles are you looking for in a setup? or rules within your plan, right? I think you're only as profitable as how strict your rules are within your plan. And that's part of the reason why I'm a profitable trader today, is because I'm very disciplined with the constraints within my plan. I don't deviate from my system. Of course, trade management, right? When you enter into the trade, where are you taking profits? Are you moving your stop loss? Are you taking half profits and leaving a runner? Or are you taking full profits at target one, right? Entering into a trade is the first step. The second step is extracting profit from that trade. You need a game plan for that. And of course, risk management, which by the way, I probably should have started out with this one. This one is by far the most important. In fact, most of your foundation is going to be built around risk management in limiting your losses. Listen, I know you're excited. I know you want to fund your account. You want to start making money. However, I emphasize, please focus on your education. Focus on building this foundation for your trading, because your goal isn't to just make money over the next few months. Your goal is to make money in 5 years, in 10 years with your trading. And the only way to ensure long-term profitability is to build this foundation for success and focus on the education. And if you don't know where to go for this, I have hundreds of hours of free education on the internet, not only on this YouTube channel that you're watching right now, so I strongly encourage you to watch my other videos on this channel, but I also have a free 10+ hour trading course that is genuinely better than most paid courses on the internet. It will help you build this foundation, so you could find my free course in the description of this video. Take advantage. Let's move to step number 2. Now that you've educated yourself, you know a few strategies, you know how to calculate risk and size your positions, you know how to limit losses, you know what criteria you're looking for in your setups, and you have a methodology. From there, you're probably excited. You're ready to practice and you're ready to apply what you just learned. And this is by far the most important step. It's the application, right? You can read books, watch videos on how to drive a car, but until you're behind the wheel and driving every single day, you're never going to become a confident driver. Like, imagine you're on the highway for the first time. Are you going to feel comfortable merging? Are you going to feel comfortable going fast? No, of course not. You need repetition. You need practice. And the most important part of this step, and this is where most traders actually, they get this wrong, is when you start practicing, you either want to paper trade, which is trading with fake money, or you want to be trading with very small risk. What most traders do is that once they've learned the education, great, they fund their account and they start using big risk. And when you're using big risk during this experimentation phase where you're testing your strategies, you're testing setups, right? You're not going to become profitable right away. You're going to make mistakes. You have to figure out what works for you. You have to figure out what doesn't work for you. So why would you risk a lot of money in this beginning stage of learning, right? When you begin live trading, you need to paper trade or trade with small risk. When I say small risk, I'm talking like $1 to $5 a trade, $1 to $10 a trade. Something so small, so even if you have 10 losers in a row and you're risking $5 a trade, okay, you lost $50. That's not a big deal. That's not so bad. You're gonna learn a lot through those 10 trades, but $50, that's not gonna blow up your account. That's the goal, right? And you want to take a lot of trades. You want to experiment with your strategies. Even if some of the setups are lower quality, that's fine. Experiment with it so you could learn through experience, and just take a ton of trades and practice everything that you just learned in the education. Keep in mind that during the step 2 application phase, your focus shouldn't be to make money. I don't want you to care about the end result of every single trading day. I want you to detach yourself from the outcome and focus on the process. And specifically, you're going to be focusing on what is working in your trading and what isn't working in your trading. And the only way that you could figure that out is through step number 3, data collection and observation. And this is when you're going to be journaling your results. And no, I don't mean your profits, okay? I don't care how much you're making day to day. I want you to journal what strategies you resonate with, what types of stocks are you most profitable with. For example, for me, I really gravitate towards mid to low caps, and I don't really like trading stocks that are over like $50 to $100. I also don't really trade the name brands. So I won't day trade Tesla or Amazon or Apple. I just don't really gravitate towards those types of stocks. Now, other traders may gravitate towards them, right? I just know what I like because I figured that out very early in my trading career. Another example is with the strategies that I resonate with. I really like breakouts. I like breakouts more than I like retracement setups. Now, retracements are still within my trading methodology, but I always naturally gravitated towards trading breakouts, right? That's just what works for me. But that might be different for you. That might be different for every single trader. Same thing with the trade management. For me, I really enjoy scalping. I love kind of getting in and out of positions quick, right? I get big size, I go for a bit smaller moves, and I'll take profits quick, and I'll do that a lot of times every single day, and my profits really add up. And that's what I like to gravitate towards, right? Now, I do other styles of trading as well where I'll get in and I'll hold that trade for a few hours, but I wouldn't say that's my bread and butter. I still know how to do it. I still do it almost every single day, but that's not like my bread and butter strategy. So you need to figure out what you resonate with. What style of management do you like? Do you like kind of getting in and out quick, which is a lot more active? Or do you like perhaps getting into something in the morning and then waiting until, the end of the day to get out? And the only way that you're going to figure this out is to apply, is to practice and trade everything that you've learned in your education. And as you're practicing and trading, I want you to be journaling what you're gravitating towards and which strategies are making you money. And I want you to do what makes sense to you. Do what you resonate with. When you take a trade, you usually get a really good feeling about it. And there's always going to be a style of trading that you're like, yeah, I just like this. I could feel it, and you almost develop an intuition for that style. And that's what I want you to accomplish through this data collection and observation point. Now, in the beginning of your journey, you're not going to know exactly what you resonate with at first. You're not going to know which strategies are most profitable for you. That's going to take time. And that part is difficult to really identify. But what isn't difficult to identify is figuring out what's not working in your trading. It's pretty easy to figure out what's consistently not making you money. So I want you to really focus on that. Focus on what isn't working. Example, maybe every single day you start the day down 2 to 3 hours. Every day. At the market open, you start the day down 2 to 3 hours. Perfect. Stop trading the market open. Eliminate that from your trading plan. Maybe, 50% of your trades are going for reversals and you're consistently losing money on reversals. Fantastic. Stop trading reversals or just be way more selective with reversal setups. You get the idea. Figure out what isn't working and then eliminate it. And then what you're going to be left with are strategies and the styles that are working for you. So let's go ahead and recap the video real quick. So step number 1, you want to focus on your education, building the foundation for your trading, building that core methodology. And once you have somewhat of a trading plan or a trading system, from there, it's time to practice. It's time to apply everything that you have learned. But at first, you're going to be starting off with paper trading, which is trading with fake money, or with trading with very small risk. So during this period where you're experimenting with what you've learned in the education, you're not losing money. And as you're practicing every single day, you're going to be collecting data, you're going to be observing what's working for you, what isn't working for you, and you're going to be journaling those results. And you want to focus on eliminating all of the obvious mistakes that you're making and trying to figure out what trading style you resonate with, what trade management style you like. And you want to figure out what type of trader are you? Are you a scalper? Are you going to be holding trades for multiple hours? Are you going to be trading mid caps or small caps or large caps? Are you trading breakouts or retracements? Or do you like reversals? You want to figure all this out through data collection and observation. Focus on becoming break even first. Just detach yourself from the outcome and from the profits and raise your risk gradually. We already talked about what you have to do on your first major setback, which is inevitable for every single trader. You want to lower your risk, go back to the drawing board and adapt through journaling and adapt through observing what is working in that trading environment and what isn't. And of course, mentorship is going to expedite this entire process. You know, you could absolutely figure it out by yourself. It is possible. It's just going to take way more time, just like how it did for my father. So yeah, this is exactly what I do. And I can almost guarantee if you follow this process and you stick to it and you work hard and you're disciplined and you're consistent and you never give up, you're going to see fantastic progress. It's really just a question on when that progress is going to turn into profits, which is going to be different for every single trader. For some traders, it might take only 2 to 3 months. Other traders, it's going to be 4 to 5 months. Other traders, it's going to be longer. Everyone is a little bit different. Hopefully you found tremendous value in this video. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe to the channel for more content. Make sure you leave a comment on your feedback on the video. Did you enjoy this kind of breakdown? And I will see you on the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Let's move to step number 4. Focus on breaking even consistently and raising risk gradually. Your first priority as a beginner trader isn't to become profitable. It's to become a consistently break-even trader. A break-even trader is someone who doesn't lose, who knows risk management, who knows how to limit their losses. And by becoming a break-even trader first, when you know you're consistently not losing, that's going to give you a lot of confidence. And that confidence is what you need to become profitable. So in the beginning, when you're just starting out, you don't want to go from beginner to profitable. You want to go from beginner to consistently break even and then break even to profitable. Once you're a break-even trader and you're not losing every single day, you're like 80% of the way there towards becoming a profitable trader. And as long as you're focusing on step 1, step 2, step 3, and step 4, and you're putting in the work, you're consistent, you're disciplined, you're going to see some genuine progress. In fact, you might even begin making money with like $1 to $10 risk, where maybe you're making $10 a day, $20 a day, $30 the next day, 10 the next day, 40 the next day, right? And you're seeing that results are starting to come in. Now, a big mistake that traders make is that they go from like $1 to $10 risk to like $100 risk or $1,000 risk instantly. You don't want to do that. In fact, if you can't make money with $1 to $10 risk, you won't be able to become profitable with $1 to $1,000 risk. Keep that in mind. And you want to raise your risk gradually. And you don't want to just, quadruple your risk overnight. If you're risking like $1 to $5 per trade, go from like 1 to 5 then to 5 to 10. If you're risking $10 a trade, go to 15. If you're risking 15, then go to 25, right? Do it gradually. And I would only raise your risk when you have more than 2 weeks of consistency and when you're feeling strong psychologically. I get asked this question all the time, Emmanuel, when should I raise my risk? I feel like I'm ready, but I'm not sure yet. If you're in doubt, don't raise your risk. You want to be raising your risk when you're feeling good. You're feeling confident. You have consistency. You now have a track record of success with smaller risk, and that justifies you raising your risk. If you're kind of in doubt and you're not sure, don't raise your risk. You should be raising your risk when you're psychologically strong, okay? And in the beginning, your risk is actually going to increase rapidly and pretty quickly, where I've seen a lot of traders go from, let's say $10 risk to $100 or even $200 risk per trade rather quickly within a few months. But as you raise your risk more and more and more, that rate of increase is going to slow down, where you might go from $10 to $100 risk pretty quick, but then it's going to take more time going from 100 to 300 or 300 to 500, etc. So the higher your risk is, the slower it's going to take to actually raise it, because when you're dealing with big risk, that's going to come with a lot of emotional and psychological impact, where if now you're risking $1,000 per trade, that's going to feel completely differently than when you're risking $100 per trade. And you have to understand that the overall process of becoming a profitable trader is exponential. So let's say we have this little graph here. We have time below, okay, and then we have profits here. Most people think that this process is linear. These steps that I just showed you and the steps in this video, it works like this. you're putting in a lot of time, you're practicing, you're building your system, you're building your edge, but you're not really seeing any results. You're not seeing any results. And then all of a sudden your results just go exponential as soon as things click. And you don't want to quit trading before this happens. You want to put in and thug it out and go through all the struggle, put in the time, put in the work ethic, be disciplined throughout this entire stage right here where you're putting in a lot of time, but you're not seeing results, because at some point your results are going to go exponential. And when this happens, it can completely change your life. So going into step 5 at this point, maybe you're feeling really good about your trading. You raised your risk from $10. Now you're risking $100 per trade. Everything is clicking. You're feeling invincible. You're making, $400 or $500 a day. Maybe you're even making $1,000 or $2,000 pretty consistently, and you're feeling great. Well, this is going to happen next. And that is, you're going to see something like this, where you see a dip in your trading. And that goes into step 5, which is your first major setback, okay? And when you think you have everything figured out, where you're making money, you're feeling good, you're feeling invincible, you become complacent. And unfortunately, you stop putting in as much effort towards the other steps of the process, like the data collection, like raising risk gradually, or focusing on the application and journaling. Maybe you're starting to ignore that because, hey, everything's figured out, you're making money. And what happens is you fail to adapt when the market changes. And I see this all the time where profitable traders, they lose their profitability. They become losing traders because they're not able to keep up with the market. You have to understand that the market is constantly changing from week to week, month to month, from year to year, and you need to always be sharpening the tools in your toolbox. You always need to be working on your trading. You always need to be journaling. You always need to be refining your process and working on your system. The moment you stop doing that, and that usually happens during this parabolic stage, because you put in all this work, you're seeing those results going parabolic, then you relax, you become complacent, you stop working on your trading, and then you see a major dip and you refuse to adapt. In fact, a lot of times, most traders just force the same strategies that made them money before, but those strategies, they're not as effective anymore. And you always have to be okay with lowering your risk, accepting, hey, I'm not seeing the same results like I did 5 months ago, right? You have to be okay with going back to the drawing board, refining your system, and changing things around. And this happens to everyone. It even happened to me, where I had a really nice parabolic move in my results. I was making money consistently, and then all of a sudden the market kind of changed and I saw a big setback in my trading. And from there, and I wasn't losing money, right? Keep that in mind. The reason I'm profitable is because of how good I am at limiting my losses. During this setback, I really lowered my risk. And then it kind of went like this, and then I kept putting in more time, working on my system before the next parabolic move up. And that's kind of the journey as a trader. You put in this work, you see a big uptick in your results, you see a little setback, you put in another, a lot of time, a lot of work, and then you see another parabolic shift in your results. You have to be okay with adapting to the market. You have to be okay with change. In fact, the only thing that is constant is change. And I'm going to be completely honest, during this first major setback in your trading, it is going to hurt your ego. You're going to think that you got lucky. You're going to think that, oh, well, maybe I'm not so good of a trader after all. And it's going to be tough to adapt and go back to the drawing board. It's going to be tough to accept that you have to lower your risk and kind of reset everything in your system. And a lot of traders quit here, or a lot of traders over risk, over trade, and then they end up giving back all of their profits during this exponential stage in their results, right? You want to avoid that. Make sure during this setback, you are protecting the profits that you made here. Make sure you lower your risk. Maybe you even have to go to paper trading for like a few days or a week just to kind of reset. On the other hand, when you overcome this setback and you see your results starting to go up again, where you've adapted your trading, you've re-raised your risk, and you're starting to become profitable again, well, that's going to give you so much confidence, and it's going to completely almost shift the way that you look at trading. You're going to be like, yeah, I am a profitable trader. I stayed resilient and I overcame that setback. And then any new setback that you see from here is going to be way shorter than this one because you have confidence in yourself that you can adapt to the new environment and you can overcome any obstacle within your trading. Let's go to step number 6. And I have a lot of personal experience with this one. Mentorship is going to expedite every single step of this process. And I'm going to be honest and blunt. If you don't have a mentor, it's likely to take years to figure this out. And the way that I know that is because my father went through that path. It took him 7 years to become a consistently profitable trader because he had to learn through trial and error. He had to experiment with stuff and he never really learned correctly from the very beginning. But when he taught me, it only took me 3.5 months to begin making money with trading. And I don't care who your mentor is. I don't care if you pick your friend or someone else on YouTube. That doesn't matter to me. All that I want to emphasize here is make sure that your mentor live trades with you, where he or she shares the screen and you're able to ask questions in real time and you could actually watch their execution. That is the best way to learn how to trade. It's by doing it with your mentor. So like I said, I don't care who your mentor is, but if you do want to learn from me, I have hundreds of hours of free education online on my YouTube channel, but also in my free 10+ hour trading course that I mentioned earlier in this video. But if you do want to work with me personally, you want me to take you under my wing, I do personally help coach and scale traders from zero to consistently profitable, where my students trade live with me every single day. So if you are looking for a personal mentor, you could apply for my mentorship in the description of this video.